Welcome to Audiobook 365 Stories.
Causing cuts and wounds that led to death. This was the charge against Leopold Renard, an upholsterer, in the Court of Assizes. Around him were the main witnesses, Madame Flameche, the victim's widow, Louis Laduro, a cabinet maker, and Jean Durdant, a plumber. Next to the accused was his wife, dressed in black. She was a small, unattractive woman who looked like a monkey dressed as a lady. This is how Renard, Leopold, told the story. Heavens, it is a bad luck that I suffered from the most, and I didn't mean for it to happen. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. President. I am an honest man, a hard-working upholsterer. I have lived on the same street for 16 years. I am known, liked, respected, and esteemed by everyone, even the porter's wife, who is not always friendly. I love working, saving money, and spending time with honest people and good activities. That's what got me into trouble, but I still respect myself. Every Sunday for the last 5 years, my wife and I spend the day at Passy. We get fresh air and love fishing. We enjoy it as much as we love onions. Mealy, my wife, made me love fishing. She is even more passionate about it than I am. But she is also the reason for this trouble, as you will soon see. I am strong and kind, with no bad intentions. But my wife, oh dear, she is small and thin, but she causes a lot of trouble. I admit she has good qualities, which are important for my business. But her character, just ask anyone in the neighborhood, even the porter's wife who just scolded me, she will tell you. Every day, my wife would criticize my gentle nature. I wouldn't put up with this. I wouldn't put up with that. If I had listened to her, Mr. President, I would have been in at least 3 fights a month. Madame Renard interrupted him, and for good reasons, too. They laugh best who laugh last. He turned to her and said, "Well, I can't blame you, since you weren't the cause of it." Then, looking at the president again, he said, "I will continue. We used to go to Passy every Saturday evening, so we could start fishing early the next morning. It was a habit for us. 3 years ago, in the summer, I found a place. Oh, such a great spot. In the shade, with at least 8 feet of water, maybe 10. A perfect spot for fish and a paradise for fishermen. I thought of that fishing hole as mine, Mr. President, because I found it first. Everyone in the neighborhood knew it. They would say, 'That is Renard's place.' Nobody would go there, not even Mr. Plumo, who is known for fishing in other people's spots. So, I went back to this place that I thought was mine. As soon as we got there on Saturday, I got into Delilah with my wife. Delilah is my Norwegian boat, which I had built by Fornair. It is light and safe. Well, as I said, we got into the boat to set bait, and I am very good at setting bait. Everyone knows it. You want to know what bait I use? I cannot answer that. It has nothing to do with the accident. That is my secret. More than 300 people have asked me. They have offered me drinks and food to tell them. But just try if the fish will bite. They have tried to get my secret, my recipe. Only my wife knows, and she will not tell. Isn't that right, Mealy?" The president of the court interrupted him. "Just get to the facts as soon as you can," and the accused continued. "I am getting to them. I am getting to them. Well, on Saturday, July 8th, we left by the 5:25 train. Before dinner, we went to set bait as usual. The weather looked good and I said to Mealy, 'All right for tomorrow.' And she replied, 'It looks like it.' We never talk more than that together. Then we went back for dinner. I was happy and thirsty, and that caused everything. I said to Mealy, "Look here, Mealy, it is fine weather. How about I drink a bottle of casca mesh? That is a weak white wine we call that, because if you drink too much, it stops you from sleeping. Do you understand me?" She replied, "You can do as you please, but you will be ill again and not able to get up tomorrow." That was true and wise, but I couldn't resist, and I drank my bottle. That is where it all started. Well, I could not sleep. By Jove! It kept me awake until 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I went to sleep so deeply that I would not have heard an angel blowing a trumpet. In the morning, my wife woke me at 6 o'clock. I jumped out of bed, quickly put on my trousers and jersey, washed my face, and got on board Delilah. But it was too late. When I arrived at my fishing spot, someone was already there. This had never happened to me in 3 years, and it felt like I was being robbed. I said to myself, "Confound it all. Confound it." Then my wife started nagging at me. "What about your casca mesh? You drunkard. Are you happy now, you fool?" I couldn't say anything because she was right, but I landed near the spot and tried to fish there anyway. Maybe the man would catch nothing and leave. He was a little thin man in a white linen coat and waistcoat with a large straw hat. His wife, a fat woman, was doing embroidery and sat behind him. When she saw us take our position close to them, she murmured, "Are there no other places on the river?" My wife, who was very angry, replied, "People with good manners ask about the habits of the neighborhood before taking reserved spots." Not wanting a fight, I said to her, "Be quiet, Mealy. Let them be. We shall see." We fastened Delilah under the willow trees and started fishing side by side, Mealy and I, close to the other two. But here, sir, I must explain more. We had only been there for about 5 minutes when our neighbor's fishing line jerked twice, thrice, and then he pulled out a fish as thick as my thigh, maybe a bit smaller, but almost as big. My heart beat fast, and sweat stood on my forehead. Mealy said to me, "Well, you drunkard, did you see that?" Just then Mr. Brew, the grocer from Poissy, who loves fishing, passed by in a boat and called out to me, "So someone has taken your usual place, Mr. Renard?" And I replied, "Yes, Mr. Brew, some people do not know the rules of common politeness." The little man in linen pretended not to hear, and his fat wife too. Here the president interrupted him again. "Be careful, you are insulting the widow, Madame Flamche, who is here." Renard made his apologies. I am sorry. My anger got the best of me." Well, not even 15 minutes had passed when the little man caught another big fish, and another one right after, and another 5 minutes later. Tears were in my eyes, and I knew that Madame Renard was very angry. She kept on nagging at me. "Oh, how terrible! Don't you see that he is taking your fish? Do you think you will catch anything? Not even a frog, nothing at all. My hands are shaking just thinking about it." But I said to myself, "Let us wait until 12 o'clock. Then this man will go to lunch, and I will get my spot back. I always have lunch there every Sunday. We bring our food in Delilah." But at noon, the man took out a chicken from a newspaper, and while he was eating, he caught another big fish. Mealy and I had a little bite, just a bit, because we were too upset. Then I took my newspaper to help me relax. Every Sunday, I read the Gil Blas in the shade by the water. It is Columbine's day, you know. Columbine writes articles in the Gil Blas. I often make Madame Renard angry by pretending to know this Columbine. It is not true. I do not know her and have never seen her, but it doesn't matter. She writes very well and says things that are quite bold for a woman. I like her writing, and there are not many like her. Well, I started to tease my wife, but she got very angry, so I stopped talking. At that moment, our two witnesses, Mr. Laduro and Mr. Durdant, appeared on the other side of the river. We knew each other by sight. The little man began to fish again, and he caught so many fish that I was very upset. His wife said, "This is a very good spot, and we will always come here, Desire." I felt a cold shiver down my back, and Madame Renard kept saying, "You are not a man. You have the blood of a chicken in your veins." Suddenly, I said to her, "Look, I would rather leave, or I will do something foolish." And she whispered to me, as if she was putting a hot iron under my nose, "You are not a man. Now you are going to leave and give up your spot. Go then, coward." I felt hurt, but I did not move. The other man pulled out a big fish, bigger than I had ever seen. Then my wife began to talk loudly, pretending to think out loud. She said, "That fish is stolen because we set the bait ourselves. At least, they should give us back the money we spent on bait." Then the fat woman in the cotton dress said, "Are you calling us thieves, madam?" They started arguing and saying mean things to each other. Oh Lord, those people knew how to insult. They shouted so loud that our two witnesses on the other bank began to joke and call out, "Less noise over there. You will disturb your husband's fishing." The fact is, neither the little man nor I moved. We stayed there, looking at the water, as if we heard nothing, but we did hear. "You are a thief. You are no better than a tramp. You are a horrible woman," and so on. A sailor could not have said worse things. Suddenly, I heard a noise behind me and turned around. It was the fat woman, attacking my wife with her parasol. Whack, whack. Mealy got hit twice. But she was very angry, and she hits hard when she is mad. She grabbed the fat woman by the hair and then slap, slap. She hit her face again and again. I should have let them fight. Women with women, men with men. But the little man in the linen jacket jumped up like a devil and was going to attack my wife. "No, no, not that, my friend." I hit the man with my fist. Bam, bam. One hit on the nose, one hit in the stomach. He threw up his arms and legs and fell on his back into the river, right into the deep hole. I would have pulled him out, Mr. President, if I had time. But, to make things worse, the fat woman was winning and was hitting Mealy hard. I know I should not have interfered while the man was in the water, but I never thought he would drown. I thought, bah, it will cool him off. So I ran to the women to stop them, and all I got were scratches and bites. Good Lord, what a fight! It took me 5, or maybe 10 minutes to separate those two angry women. When I turned around, there was nothing to see. The water was calm like a lake, and the people over there kept shouting, "Get him out! Get him out!" It was easy to say that, but I can't swim and definitely can't dive. Finally, the man from the dam and 2 men with long poles arrived, but more than 15 minutes had passed. He was found at the bottom of the pit, in water that was 8 feet deep, as I mentioned. There he was, the poor man, in his linen suit. Those are the facts as I have sworn to them. I am innocent, I swear. After the witnesses gave their testimony to the same effect, the accused was found not guilty.